Hey there folks, this is Josh, Stoney Ridge Farmer. Welcome back to the farm. It's another beautiful day here in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. Today we are embarking upon a project. Now, I've already gotten a pretty good start at it, but we are embarking upon a project for a farm pond for our cattle. So this will be a water source for our cattle here on the farm. There's a spring up the stream here, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about how we're doing this, what we're doing, and we'll get you a good time lapse of what's going on today. Hours and hours and hours of work, and as you can see, man, what a pile of dirt we've got. So come along today, we'll talk about building a pond. We'll build one, all right?
I ain't afraid of work, I ain't afraid of play, I ain't afraid to get the job done and do it my own damn way. I ain't afraid of life, times like this. If you mess with my freedom, I'll tell you just what you can kiss. That's right.
All right, guys, so what you're seeing right here, it looks like a huge mess. Yesterday, if you didn't catch the live stream, we were out here working on this side of the pond. All of this dirt that you see right here will be gone very, very soon. So we'll blend that all into the landscape here. All of this is just the rough part of building our farm pond here. We are at the highest point on the furthest south part of our farm. So we're behind our house. If you follow the YouTube channel, the land that we were clearing, the huge hillside, is right over here. The land that we've already cleared and the cows have been on is directly over here. So what we're doing is building probably an acre-ish pond, maybe a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger than an acre. And I'm digging down to the bedrock. All the water you see here is groundwater. It's water that was in the ground that's just bubbled up through here. We're not disturbing creeks. We are doing this the right way so that we don't damage anything, so that we don't damage the watershed, and so that we have a nice, good, clean source of water. Now, it doesn't look very clean right now, but it will look very clean once we get the pond complete. So let me turn the camera over this way a little bit. What we're working with is this big old Case model CX210D. It is a monster of an excavator. And the reason we have to use an excavator here is because of the rocks. So down in here, and you can see there's kind of a pile of dirt. Well, those are rocks. Those are rocks that are nearly as big as a small car. So there are huge rocks in here. What I'm doing and what I've done so far, and we've got to remember we have a whole lot of I guess there's a whole lot of stuff going on here that you need to know about. If you're thinking about building your own pond, this will be awesome information for you. So the property line is this wood line right here, okay? I've already spoken to the property owner that owns this property, and I told him I'm gonna be building a pond. Be good to your neighbors, be kind to your neighbors, and they'll be kind back to you, hopefully. So I told him what we're doing. We're not gonna back water up on his property because that would be a bad thing. We don't wanna do that, but if we get the occasional flood or something like that, there is a risk that we could back water up onto his property. So I wanted to talk to him about it. There's not a lot of big hardwoods or anything like that, and the spring that's gonna feed this pond is actually bubbling out of the ground, so it's a spring-fed pond. It will be awesome, awesome water. And we've already put, in this section right here, we've already introduced 50 channel catfish, okay? So they'll clean up all the muck and the slime and stuff like that and help keep the pond clean. We may introduce some other species of fish once the catfish get a little bit bigger. They're about that big right now. So all these trees that you see right here have to be cleared out. And I'm gonna take that soil down. That is good soil that we'll be using for the pond dam over here. And for other projects, we'll always have some fill dirt up here, and we need fill dirt on the farm all the time. So we're gonna take all of this out. All of this, these brushy trees, and we're gonna go back probably about as far as you see this ditch right here. So we're about 50 feet from the center line here. We raked back all of this just like so, and we tried to smooth the transition area. We'll finish this off with a Caterpillar loader and the skid steer, and we're gonna do the exact same thing over here. We're gonna spare a few trees that I think are not gonna be in the way, but we're gonna have to knock down some trees today. We're gonna have to get them out of the way. All of the land you see behind us here has been planted in pines. So we replanted it once we clear cut the land. We knew the land below this was going to be pasture, so we're making it into pasture, and that's where I'll move next with the giant excavator here. But for today, we're going to put you on a time lapse. We're going to let you see what we're doing here. We're going to work our way through these trees, do our best to not tear anything up or roll the excavator over into this hole, which I don't think will be a problem. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to be sitting in a nice air-conditioned cab. I'll have some different camera angles for you. We'll put cameras all over. But if you're considering building a pond and you have a spring on your property, what you need to do, first thing, check with your local municipalities, make sure that you know the laws, that you know that you're not getting in the watershed and you're not tearing stuff up. Be very conscious of erosion. Take care of the things that you need to take care of, in other words. Now for a farm pond like this, all I'm doing is digging down to the bedrock, okay? I have not raised the level of anything. I've just pulled soil out of this hole, and this is basically a catch pond. Now when we have huge torrential downpours, this catch pond will help reduce flooding on down the line. And if you follow the YouTube channel, you know we've had a lot of floods. We've had the 1,000-year flood every year, it seems like. So that's what's going on. This is the dam portion right here, and there's a 24-inch pipe right there in that dam. What we're gonna do later on is we're gonna dig that pipe, we're gonna dig back out, we're gonna take that pipe out, we're gonna take some of this good clean dirt, put it back in, pack it down tight, we're gonna lay the pipe back in. So we're gonna bring the water level up about this much. In other words, this entire area back here will be totally full of nice spring water, and we can tap into that and use that for watering our cows. Our cows will not get in the pond. This is solely for the purpose of pumping water or siphoning water downhill to our cattle fields. Cool? Let's get busy. What you can't see here is the moderate amount of stress that's involved in running a big piece of machinery like this real close to the edge. In other words, I'm probably 2 feet, maybe that far from the edge where it drops off. So you don't want to work too aggressively. What I'm doing right now is just kind kind of picking my way through here. There's a lot of really big boulders and stuff. What you can see right now is how shaky this is. So it looks really smooth from the camera shot and from the time lapse and everything like that, but it's not really all that smooth. What I'm doing now is trying to cut down an embankment. It's hard for me to get a good camera angle for you guys without having like 16 cameras running at the same time here. Around the pond here where I'm working, let me slide this camera this way just a little. There we go. Around the pond here where I'm working, I want to be able to drive the Kubota or an ATV all the way around to the other side of the pond for fishing and stuff like that. Looking at what I'm doing, I got a big old rock here. And I can't just have a big dirt pile here, so I've got to, as I go, I've got to kind of take the bucket and rake forward. So that's what you'll see, hopefully in some of the time-lapse video, you'll see me doing that. What's going to happen in the future is these dirt piles will kind of settle down a little bit. There's roots, rocks, and all kinds of stuff in there, but we won't really be accessing that area, and it'll grow up in trees and brush and stuff like that. One thing about North Carolina is the land will grow up in in a heartbeat. So if you leave your land unattended or unmowed for a couple of years, and the forest is trying to take it back pretty quickly. So all the mess that I guess what I'm getting at is all the mess that I'm making, you won't see it. We'll take you around after I get done here, kind of show you what everything looks like. Again, we're just digging a pit, a great big pit. That pit is going to contain water, and that water is going to be good spring water for our cattle to have to drink. So that's what's up. That's what we're doing. And I got a big old rock right here. Lots of rocks on the Stoney Ridge farm. There's a reason why we called it the Stoney Ridge. There are tons and tons of rocks. So I think we're going to have to move the machine. So I'll get to a certain point where I'm working, then I'll need to move the machine. There's some handles down here, and that's what I'll do. I'll turn my bucket where I can see. Keep an eye on everything from the rear. There's a couple cameras behind me. And then I'll just right back down the trail that I've made already. That's what I'm doing now. And I'll work my way through here. I'll move about 10 or 15 feet. I'll move about 10 or 15 more feet, about 10 or 15 more feet, and I'll just keep doing that until I plug my way all the way down through here. We have ourselves a nice big pond. It looks like a nice big mess right now, but soon it will make a great pond, and it's going to be a good catfish pond. So if ever we want a little catfish to munch on, we got it up here, and hopefully my children will be able to play around in this pond. It's going to be spring water, and it's not going to have any livestock in it, so it's going to be clean spring water, which is awesome. So we could actually come up here and make this a swimming hole if we wanted to. See what I mean? It looks smooth, but it's not. Guys, hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to toss a drone up in the air in just a little bit. It's kind of hard for me to operate everything at one time, but I do need to get the drone up so you guys can get some cool shots of what's going on kind of up close here. All right, guys, so we've gotten all this area all cleaned up right here. I hope you enjoyed the drone footage. We've moved our pipe. So we had a little creek crossing right here. We moved our pipe over here. We raised it up about 2.5 feet, which should provide us a lot of water. So what you see in here are huge boulders that I just couldn't get. But that's it. This is going to be an awesome farm pond right here. I cannot wait. Again, this is groundwater. This is from rainstorms and stuff like that. But there is a spring up this here holler that's going to feed this pond. And we have 50 catfish in here. We'll probably be able to put 150 catfish in here. We'll have an awesome catfish pond. And I was able to save one of the big pretty maple trees and another big pretty maple tree over there. So really happy. Now I got to get rid of this dirt. Guys, come on back and see me on the Stoney Ridge farm again. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Please pound that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'd love to have you back here on the farm. All right? Woo!
Well, come on down to the Stoney Ridge. Bring your wife and bring your kids.